It's your City Boy OG Bry-dee, host of Urban Realness. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification and share button. We had a couple of weeks back, one of my partners, man, that be getting at me on the channel, named Finesse Analyzer, said, man, you need to do a story about your experiences in the feds because you come with the real. You know, you don't put all these fakeness on it and you say who was there when certain events happen. And that's true, man, because I had mentioned one time, which I'm not proud of, but, you know, you have to turn into a barbarian when you're in the feds because you have an international criminal set that's there, man. Dudes from all walks of life from other countries, globally, you know. So I mentioned when I put in work on one of my cellies who wasn't no good, and I said it was there. Vic from T-Zone was there. Yella from East Coast was there. Lil Dimrock from Main Street was there. Lil Dimrock wanted to do the demo. I told him, nah, homie, I got this. You go home. You've been down 20-something years. You know, but I'm not glorifying it. I'm just saying you have to turn into a barbarian in certain situations. Now, when I first got my federal sentence, man, well, before I go there, let me tell y'all something, man. If you rob a store, a mom and pop store, and the cheese come from Wisconsin, that's called interstate commerce that you affected. That's what the feds will say. And they hit you with the gun. Now, that's called a 1951 Hobbs Act, which was designed for gangsters in the 40s and 50s. But they hit you with the Hobbs Act as 0 to 20 years. Then it's 7 years ran consecutive, bow-legged on top of that for the gun. So that's 27 years you're looking at just for robbing a mom and pop store. Think about it. 8 or 9 seconds of your life could cost you 800 million seconds, or it can cost you 8 million seconds, or 800,000 seconds, sitting in a bathroom, man. Now, I'm not saying this to lecture y'all, I'm just giving y'all a heads up on how the feds are. When I first went to the feds, they shipped me to Indiana, man. I went to USP Terre Hut. It's a regular joint then. It's not a regular joint now, y'all. So I went to USP Terre Hut. And I remember one day a cat named Trinidad got beat out of like $300, $400. I tell you, it's all kind of slicksters in the feds. And Trinidad hustled hard for his money, man. You know, his brother, he hustled hard on the yard, took care of himself. Well, anyway, man, he was trying to creep up on the dude with a knife, and somebody else saw him and stole on him and dropped him from the blind side. And they didn't stab him to death. They started kicking him. Then another dude who was like 6'6", man, and like every bit of 350, 360 pounds and carried his weight good, ran over there, put his hands on the gate and started jumping up and down on the brother's head till he killed him. That was one of the first murders I seen in the feds, man. So I'm just saying the feds are so vicious, man. And all them dudes got up out of it. They got up out of it, but the brother, you know, who was the heavy-set brother, you know, he had a life sentence in another state. He didn't care. You know, he was going back to the state to do hell, but he didn't have no get back on. You know, he had 28 years, then he had life on top of that after he did the 28, after he did his fed bid. So he didn't care. You know, it's situations, man, where when I was in Victorville, man, you know, dude dragged the dude down the stairs, deposited him in front of the police office and said, this is what you do with trash. It was my partner who we did it. You know, he got 20 years for that, on top of his 20 years he had. You know, I could just go on and on and on, man. I seen a dude walking down the hallway laughing after they rolled another dude down the hallway dead. His second cellie that he killed when I was in Victorville. Getting drunk, didn't realize he killed him. I seen a dude get his whole head stomped in like it was a tomato, man. You know, I've never seen anybody get their head stumped into where their head pops. His head actually popped, man, the way the dude was stumping him out. I haven't even touched on Bloody Beaumont with Finesse Analyzer want me to touch on. I haven't touched on Leavenworth where I was at. I haven't touched on Poli, which is in Louisiana. Leavenworth is in Kansas, and Beaumont is in Texas. But they call Beaumont Bloody Beaumont. So, you know, I'm going to get at y'all on that, and I'm just going to let you know, man, that nowadays, you young dudes, generation now, you get caught with a gun. If it ain't manufactured in your state, it's a federal case, man. And they not playing. There's so many broke dudes in the feds. What I mean by broke, man, is dudes ain't millionaires. When I first went to the feds, it was a bunch of millionaires, man. A bunch of drug kingpins and so on and so on. Like I said, I'm not saying this to lecture you. I'm not saying this to tell you what to do with your life. I'm just telling you what the potential was going to happen in your life was going to be. And because Finesse Analyzer wanted me to do this, you know what, bro? I respect you saying that to me, and I'm going to do it as a continue, man. This was just a brief snippet, man, on letting you do a preview. I'll speak on some of my prison experiences in the feds and probably in the state. But one thing with me, I'm not going to do that fantasy island like some of these other YouTubers. They never lost a battle. They stabbed the whole world. Some of the crazy stuff. That's impossible. You know, they never say who was there. I'm going to always say who was there because they can't do nothing to me. Statute of limitations done, or I got caught for it and did my time for it. You know, I'm going to talk on stuff that, you know, that can get you washed up or whatever. But I'm just saying, you got these other YouTubers, man, they be misleading y'all, letting y'all think that it's all this gladiator, this and gladiator, that, and you're the top dog. It ain't like that, man. It's a stressful life, man. When you locked up like that, man. It's a stressful thing when you got to go put in work, man, because your mindset is like, basically, you ain't never coming home, you know. And I've experienced that, man. So I'm just telling you, I don't live on Fantasy Island. For y'all that don't know what that means, used to be a show called Fantasy Island, where you can come there and you can do anything you want to do. Or like we say in the feds, come to the BOP and be what you want to be. And the BOP stands for Bureau of Prisons. That was our saying, come to the BOP and be what you want to be. And it's so messed up now that I used to say, you got pibs walking around, you know, and that was P-I-B, police in beige, because you wear beige. And the police in beige was telling on you worse than the cameras, man. You know, so when you put in work, you basically put in work in front of everybody and expect to be caught. Just like the dude who killed 2 dudes and put them up under his bed, man. Oh, I got stories. Like the dude who I seen in the video where they pulled his eyes out, cut his tongue out, and, you know, cut his throat to where it was just hanging off by a little tendril on the back of his neck, the way they cut his head off. Because I used to work in the kitchen as a clerk, and so the police, they had it on the video, and I seen it, man. So the feds are vicious, man.